Guys, good morning. A little Smart News coffee talk to get you started on your day. I'm running a little late this morning. It's all fun and games when you're an entrepreneur until your 3-year-old wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, and I'm not one to rush into the room when the kids wake up. They have to, let's see if they can get themselves back to sleep. But by 4:30, when she's yelling, "Mommy, Mommy," and has a big story about a monster behind her chair and a scorpion that bit her, and she runs out of the room giggling. I mean, what are you gonna do? So I was working. We put on a little Sesame Street to try to get everything together. I'm like, I'm gonna get Smarter News up and going no matter what. And I'm sitting in a little room that doesn't have a closed door, and so I can watch her. And all of a sudden, I hear the freezer door close, and she walks in with a pint of strawberry ice cream. This little girl's a character. Definitely takes after her father, I'll tell you that. So that's what's going on in my household this morning. But there are 3 stories that I think you should know about that are really interesting, that it could affect your life in a myriad of different ways. So the first one is what's going on with gas prices in America. I don't like to talk about this all the time because a lot can affect the dynamics of oil prices and gas prices. And so you really want to look for a trend before you start talking about it. But over the last 5 weeks, gas prices have actually gone down in America. And the national average right now, according to AAA, is about $2.70. If you're not seeing that in your area, different states have different taxes, different requirements, so you might get extra charges. So that might be one of the reasons. But you should know overall that gas prices are lower because oil prices are lower. Oil prices are lower because for many different reasons, but one of them being concerns about the global economy. And that's playing into the market. So if you're a driver and you're going into the summer driving season, this is really important because usually we see gas prices go up, demand goes up, gas prices go up, but we're not seeing that this summer. And if you're not a driver, another way that this affects you is you have to remember just how many goods are moved across our country with trucks and how much trucking affects the price of goods that we have. And if you're an Amazon.com shopper like I am on a regular basis, that's going to work into your pricing of goods and products across the country. So once those higher prices get worked into goods, they seldom come down. So when they're lower, it's just a reassurance that of some sort, I don't want to say price stability because that gets us into a different area, but it just can affect the prices that you're paying on a regular basis for everyday goods. So just something else to think about. Again, if you're not driving all the time, in Texas, we drive all the time. So it definitely affects us at the gas pump. So something just to know, looks like those lower prices are going to be here for a little while. That's important. Second thing you should know is about the measles outbreak. Measles outbreak continues in America. Remember, an outbreak is just 3 or more cases. So it sounds scarier than it is. But you should know this is ongoing. More than 40 cases were reported last week, and the Health and Human Services Secretary is out giving more interviews talking about how contagious measles is. Some of you have asked, well, what's the comparison to the flu? Because we know how deadly the flu is, right? Every year. You should know statistics from this flu season are still coming in, but for comparison, there were about 400 approximately cases of hospitalization due to the flu last week. So that's a comparison. The comparison doesn't work necessarily in the way that we would like a very simple comparison. Look at how many people have measles, look how many people have the flu. Remember, we have an effective measles vaccine. It's effective up to 98%, not completely, but about 98%. And flu vaccines vary year to year. Sometimes they're 60% effective. And that's one of the reasons why there's such hard work being done to try to get a more effective vaccine for influenza, because it can be so devastating and can cause deaths. So just something to keep in mind on that. Finally, I thought this was really interesting. It's such a marked departure for NASA. NASA used to say if it wasn't about research or education, then they weren't doing it. But they changed that. They just changed that. They just announced that they want to get more into the commercialization of space. I mean, quite frankly, they're calling the economy of space. And what this means, in just layman terms, is that they want to partner with the private companies that are trying to get people into space and, make a little money. They said it's not going to be dramatic, but you never know. And so they just announced this on Friday. So what does that mean? So if you want to fly to space, basically you would take a private company flight up to space, and it would cost you about $35,000 a night to stay at the International Space Station. They want to start this by next year. So how much would it cost to launch you into space? Some estimates say about $50 million. So here's my question for you. If you had all the money in the world, okay, you've done your charity, you've bought your shoes, your handbags, I mean, just a few, and you've done all the good that you wanted to do, and you still had leftover money, would you pay tens of millions of dollars to go into space? You could stay there for maybe up to 30 days. Would that be something that would be on your bucket list? I'm so curious to hear what you think. For me, right now, I think just like laying by the pool sounds good. You know, like, do we really need to do all of that? But some people, that's definitely something that they want to do. $50 million. $50 million. NASA's thinking maybe 2 trips next year with a partner, just a few people. I know. Think about that. All right, guys, keep your great comments and questions coming. Any requests we definitely want to handle. I've seen a couple really great stories that we're looking into, so thank you for that. Always direct message us on social media, and you can always email us as well, info@smartreviews.com. In the meantime, happy driving. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you later.